Okay, children, in the last class we discussed that the government and the RBI need to manage the demand and supply in an economy. Today we'll be discussing the why aspect of it. This is the fifth master class on the series, so let's get started with it. Before we discuss the why aspect, we need to discuss the demand and supply equilibrium that is present in an economy. So, as usual, the y axis is of price and the x axis is of quantity. This is the demand curve and this is the supply curve. In an economy, this should be the equilibrium. This is Q and this is P. The ideal price should be this PO, and ideal quantity supplied or demanded should be this. In equilibrium, the quantity supplied is equals to quantity demanded. But as the demand is remaining constant, if one of the player decides to increase the price to P1, there will be decrease in the quantity demanded, which is evident by the demand curve. But as the price is increasing, the supply of the same quantity will increase to Q2 because there will be a lot of supply of the product since the price is high. Now that, but when this happens, the demand is decreasing. So again, the producers need to lower the price of the product so that more and more quantity is sold and they don't pile up in the warehouses. So again, the producers decrease the price and bring it back to the equilibrium, and hence the equilibrium is met again. So then the quantity supplied is equals to quantity demanded. So when we talk about demand in a product, in an economy, what do we mean? The absolute demand of a product or in an economy, or the effective demand of a product in an economy? We are discussing about effective because absolute means we need everything but not have the means to get everything. But effective demand means we need everything and we have the means to get everything. So, in the further lecture or in the coming lectures, I will be discussing solely about effective demand and not absolute demand. So, moving further, why aspect of the uh, demand and supply in an economy. The first why is there are finite resources available in the world, but there are infinite needs for a person. Infinite needs means this is talking about absolute demand. And second why is inflation. Inflation is the general price rise in an economy. There are many kinds of inflation, but we just need to focus on core and headline inflation. Headline inflation consists of overall inflation. There is consumer price index, there is wholesale price index, but RBI and the government just focus on consumer price index, which consists of 691 products from all kinds of baskets, which includes food, fuel, electronic items, these etc. These are various kinds of baskets. And core inflation means we are excluding food and fuel. This type of inflation generally gives an idea to the advanced economies like the US and the Europe, but in a developing economy like India, headline inflation gives the clear picture. So, moving further, examples of inflation. Headline inflation in FY 2024 was 5.4%. The food and fuel inflation was 7.5%. And the core inflation was 3.9%. Why the food and fuel inflation was so high? Because the food or grains were not readily available in the FY 2024, which led to high demand. But the demand is constant for food and grains, but supply took a deep took a dip, which led to high prices, which led to high demand and equilibrium not being met. Now, because of this, because we have to achieve the equilibrium, the government then subsidizes the farmers so that we get grains and food at a cheaper rate. Now, when the core inflation was in the RBI's ambit, the target for the headline inflation is 4% plus or minus 2%. Means the headline inflation can be in the range of 2 to 6%. But the core inflation was being managed at 3.9%, but the food and fuel inflation was not. And to curb this food and fuel inflation, the RBI and the government started giving out loans to farmers and middlemen of agriculture, so this inflation can be curbed. Now I think it is very much clear that why RBI and government needs to intervene whenever the inflation goes very high or there is a deflation. The concepts of deflation, disinflation, and inflation, hyperinflation, throttling inflation, all of it will be discussed tomorrow in another lecture. But I hope all this is clear to you. Subscribe for more, as there will be many more series or many more lectures in this series. You will have fun, I think. Thank you.